Right now, you think you are seeing this moment as it happens. You are not. What you are looking at is already old news. Your brain is quietly editing your past, guessing your future, and handing you a version of now that it made up a fraction of a second ago. And you have no idea it's doing this. Think about the last time you caught something before it fell. Maybe a glass slipped off the counter, and your hand shot out before you even decided to move. That wasn't luck. That wasn't reflex in the way you think. Your brain had already run the numbers, picked a plan, and set your arm in motion before the thought catch it ever reached your mind. You were the last one to find out what your own body was doing. Once you see how deep this goes, you will never trust your own sense of right now the same way again. Here's why this isn't just a fun brain fact. Neuroscientists have measured this using simple, repeatable experiments on vision, reaction time, and movement. So this isn't a guess about how the brain works. It's based on how fast signals actually travel through your nerves. Let's start with your eyes, because this is where it gets strange fast. You feel like you see the whole room in front of you, clearly all at once. You don't. Only a small area in the center of your vision, about the size of your thumbnail held at arm's length, is actually in sharp focus. Everything else is blurry. Your brain hides this from you by darting your eyes around 3 to 4 times every second in tiny flicks called saccades. Each flick takes about 50 milliseconds, and during that flick, your brain briefly turns your vision off completely. If it didn't, you'd see a smear every time your eyes moved. Add up all those blackouts across a single day, and you are actually blind for close to 2 hours. You never notice, because your brain fills the gaps with a stitched-together guess of what's probably there. It doesn't stop with vision. Your brain does the same trick with time. Picture stirring a spoon in a cup of coffee. The clink of metal on ceramic reaches your eyes as light almost instantly. The sound of that clink takes a little over a millisecond to reach your ear. The warmth on your fingers takes about 50 milliseconds to register in your brain. 3 senses, 3 completely different speeds. Yet you experience all of it as one smooth, connected moment. Your brain waits for the slowest signal, lines everything up, and then presents it to you as now. Which means the now you feel is really something that happened up to half a second in the past, dressed up to look current. Here's where it flips from your brain shows you the past to something much stranger. In fast situations, showing you the past would get you hurt. Picture a table tennis player facing a serve. The ball can travel at speeds that cross the table in well under a second. By the time light from that ball reaches the player's eyes and gets processed, around 100 milliseconds have passed. In that time, the ball has already moved a meaningful distance. If the brain showed the player where the ball actually was 100 milliseconds ago, they'd swing at empty air. So instead, the brain does something bolder. It takes the ball's speed and direction and calculates where it should be by the time the information is even ready to use. What the player sees is not the real ball. It's a forecast, built to be roughly where the ball actually is right now. But seeing isn't enough. The player also has to hit it back. And here the brain goes even further. Before the opponent's shot has fully landed, based on their stance and the way they're swinging, the brain starts preparing several different responses at once. One for a shot to the left, one to the right, one straight down the middle. For a brief moment, there are, in effect, several possible versions of the next move sitting ready inside the brain, each one fully prepared. Then, once the ball is actually struck, the brain picks the version that best matches what's happening and throws the rest away. The player only ever experiences the one version that got chosen. By the time they consciously decide to swing, their arm may have already started moving. The decision felt like it came first. It didn't. This same pattern shows up in something as ordinary as walking. Before the message, your foot has touched the ground, has even reached your brain has already sent the signal to take the next step, and it has already sketched out the muscle pattern for the step after that. Your brain is running the past, the present, and the near future all at the same time, just to keep you upright and moving. Now imagine your foot lands on something it didn't expect, like a banana peel, and your leg slides out from under you. Here's the part that should make you feel a little better about your own body. You don't consciously catch yourself. The organ that senses balance, tucked inside your inner ear, detects the sudden shift and reports it straight to your spinal cord and brainstem, not your thinking brain. Within about 200 milliseconds, those lower systems have already fired off emergency instructions. Arms shoot out, the other leg locks to take your weight, your core tightens to hold you steady. It takes roughly another 100 milliseconds after that before you even become consciously aware that you slipped at all. Your body finishes catching you before your mind clocks what happened. So if your brain is quietly running your vision, your timing, and your balance without asking you, how much else is it deciding without you? More than you'd guess. Your hunger, your tiredness, and especially your emotions are not simple reactions to your current state. They are predictions your brain makes ahead of time. If you usually eat lunch around the same hour every day, your brain starts preparing your body for food before you're actually low on energy, simply because that's the pattern it expects. You get hungry partly because your brain assumes you're about to need to be. Emotions work the same way, and this is the part that can feel almost unfair. Say you're heading to a gathering where, in the past, you felt a bit on edge, maybe because of one awkward night you still remember. Your brain doesn't wait to see how the room actually feels once you arrive. It pulls up that old memory, predicts you're about to feel anxious again, and starts adjusting your heart rate and muscle tension before you've even walked through the door. That prepared, tense body then makes you feel anxious, which lines up with what your brain expected, so the prediction gets filed away as confirmed for next time. It's not that the party made you anxious. Your brain decided you would be, and then made it true. That might sound like you're just a passenger with no say in any of it. You're not though, and this is the important part. Your conscious mind was never built to handle split-second reflexes or heart rate timing. Those jobs already belong to older, faster systems, and honestly, they're better at it than you'd ever be. What your conscious mind is genuinely good at is the bigger picture. Planning ahead, noticing patterns over weeks and years, questioning a habit and choosing to change it. You may not be steering the wheel every single second, but you're the one who gets to redraw the map. Over time, through what you choose to notice and repeat, you can actually reshape the very predictions your brain keeps making about you. So the next time your heart races before you've even walked into a room, or your legs catch you before you knew you'd slipped, remember this: that's not some flaw in you. That's a genuinely brilliant system doing exactly what it evolved to do, just a little faster than your awareness can keep up with. You're not late to your own life. You're just getting the highlights reel, carefully edited, a fraction of a second after the real show already happened. If this changed the way you think about your own mind, let me know in the comments which part surprised you the most: the blind spots in your vision or the ghost versions of your next move. And if you want to keep pulling on this thread, there's another rabbit hole worth going down next. What happens when this prediction system gets it wrong for years at a time, and how that quietly shapes anxiety, habits, and even memory itself? Subscribe so you don't miss it.